get into the quarterfinals. And good luck to the Lady Owls playing volleyball.
Hey, it's a beautiful area. You know, if you got to go somewhere, you might as well go to Fort Myers.
I got a ticket once in Fort Myers for Speedy. So, long time ago, going to the Minnesota Twins game or something like that. All right, you got anything else for us, birthday boy?
No,
you want us to
nothing.
sing again?
No, please don't.
Nothing?
No.
All right. Well, let's bring Carrick in here to give us a little recap of the ball game. Do you want to go ahead and give us a commercial?
Whatever you like.
Yep, let's go ahead and do Brian Bristow.
There are a lot of places to get your oil changed in the Kennesaw area, but if you're looking for a personal experience, then stop in at Castrol Kennesaw Express Loop or Lost Mountain Express Loop. We'll always do our best to get you in and out quickly, safely, and without a whole lot of fuss. We're a true owner-operated business where you'll find Brian under a car or a hood at one of the shops. We offer experienced, knowledgeable technicians and the latest computer software to help you maintain your new car warranty and keep your pride and joy running for the next 100,000 miles. We proudly offer Castrol products.
And thank you, Brian Bristow, for being a host or a sponsor
Of
Three Guys Who Love Sports and the Owls Who Live Sports.
And this host is going to see that sponsor next week.
And make sure you go see Brian Bristow up the corner of Cobb Parkway and
Summer
Street, across from the DQ up there in Kennesaw. So speaking of Kennesaw, we have the unofficial mayor of Kennesaw and Altown.
Mayor of Altown.
And real mayor of Altown, Mr. Carrick Martin, better known as Mayor G. Krebs. So tell us about your thoughts on the first men's basketball game last night.
Well, I was very impressed that Coach Petway managed to get stuck in the elevator for 40 minutes before the game and had to delay the start of the game.
Don't think that has ever happened before, that a coach delayed the ball game because he couldn't get out of the elevator.
And for all the people watching who have never heard the story, can you...
Anyway, Coach Petway came up to the hospitality suite last night and gave us a little chalk talk on what to expect from Oakwood. And as he and Dan McDonald, the director of basketball operations, left the suite, they chose to go down the elevator.
Which only is two levels, right?
Yes, 3 floors.
3 floors.
So he only had to go down 2 levels, and they managed to press too many buttons at one time, I hear.
Is that what happened?
That's the rumor.
I would like to think that Otis figured this out over the last 140 years.
I think that ought to be Petway's new nickname.
Yeah.
Otis.
Yeah. So anyway, they got stuck, and he was in there 40 minutes. I understand that there was also a man in a wheelchair in there, and he was still in there for a while. So anyway.
And you know, to think about it, it's his opening game.
Yep.
He just gave a pep talk to all the boosters and everybody.
Yeah.
He's only got he can either walk down the stairs, which would take 17 seconds,
Maybe.
or he can get into an elevator and get trapped for 37 minutes. That is the craziest thing ever.
That is pretty
Pretty
interesting.
bizarre, yeah.
Yeah.
But then he got out.
Yes.
And then we did play the game. We were up 17-3 before you could blink an eye.
Yes, we had quite the good game. We were ahead. What was it at halftime?
57 to something.
It was 57-20.
57-20.
So
That's a good halftime score.
yeah, that was pretty good. We really, Coach Petway ran an up-tempo offense at Alabama. He was their offensive coordinator for basketball. And we were really up-tempo the whole game. It was not dribble, come up to the half court and
They
run a
never
set
walked
play.
the ball up court.
No, never. So,
And tell me about their defense. Were they pressing on defense or not so much?
No,
pushing on offense, just trying to play good man to man.
They play very good man-to-man. They're very quick.
Yeah, we had a good defense, but we never pressed them.
Okay.
Never really met them at half court. We just kind of laid back. So
We had a lot of players between the 13 and 20-point range.
Yes.
The scoring was very well balanced.
yeah, we had 2 players that had double-doubles. Damon Robinson had 16 points and 13 rebounds.
And one block that brought the place to his feet.
That's right.
Yeah.
And Franquan Sherman, a freshman, first game had a double-double with 10 rebounds and 12 points. Another freshman, R.J. Johnson, quietly had 8 assists. I did not know that until I looked at the stat sheet. So that was pretty impressive.
Sometimes they do it so easily you don't notice.
Yes. So, and he's pretty solid dude. So
Absolutely.
That was good. So.
He's a little mini Charles Barkley is what I was looking at.
Yeah, Jamel King was quite impressive. Again,
Kid from West Virginia.
Yeah, Frank Juan Sherman was impressive. He was the Class 6A Player of the Year as a junior 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And was hurt for his senior year, so we were very fortunate to have him.
Who would you have given the player of the game to?
Probably DeMond.
Yeah, me
just
too.
for the points and rebounds.
He hit 2 3-pointers in a row.
Yes.
One off the glass and one swish.
The bank was open.
Yeah.
So that was good. And
but Terrell played.
Terrell did not start.
Simeon Cottle took his place on the start. He said he'd been hurt.
He had been seen wearing a boot for, a couple of times in the last few weeks. When he played, he looked fine. So I think maybe they were just protecting him for Florida State. I don't know.
Absolutely. There's no reason to run a guy out in a
Yeah.
game that you expect to win to, have something like that happen.
But I will tell you this, when he got out there, everybody tried to knock him down.
Terrell?
Yeah. Everybody tried to knock him down.
They
on the
were a
other
very
team.
physical team, but they were very small.
Yes, they were. So it was good. We got,
How many turnovers did we have? We played pretty sloppily at
13.
times.
We had 13 turnovers with 23 assists, so that was a good ratio.
And it's kind of interesting when your 2 point guards and Burden and Cottle combined for 6 of your assists. So 17 assists came from people not called a point guard on the team. That's good distribution.
But
I mean, they all handled the ball very well.
R.J. Johnson did bring the ball up a good bit, so that was kind of interesting. So he may be third point guard or however they do the mix.
Maybe like the Nuggets where Jokic brings up the ball. DeMond may be the number one guy bringing it up before the end of the year.
Well, but you guys already kind of hit on that. If we're going to be in a pressing offense never worry. If you're into a half court offense, then you hold the ball and you get it to your point guard, and he slowly brings it. If you're not, then you're just whoever's got the ball is bringing the ball.
I don't think you'll see that all year for KSU. I don't think they'll be
correct.
Once they got in a set offense, the slow game obviously slowed down. But, I mean, they were running on every bank, and if they didn't turn it over, they always got good shots up.
Yeah.
Our good friend Cole LaRue, I think, went for 7 last night.
Yeah, went for 7 points. He had
3 for 3.
All seven of his points are in a row in the first half. So that was good. And
they were yelling
our 3 walk-ons got to play. Charles Stone, Chuck and Matt Brown and Eric Holland. Eric Holland scored some points. That's
He's
good.
EJ, the little very, very short guy?
Yes.
Yeah. He's shorter than Cottle and Burden.
So, anyway, it was overall is a good game. We do have I'm be very curious to watch us play Friday night at Florida State, see how we do on that. And
I mean, but, you talk about trying to do different things. Oakwood, Florida State. Kaiser,
what's Kaiser's nickname? The Rolls?
No, the Wilhelms.
Kaiser Wilhelm. Oh, I thought it was Kaiser Rolls.
Or maybe it's the Sosays.
So anyway, we also it's National Letter of Intent, early National Letter of Intent signing day starting today through next week.
You said we got 3 basketball players?
3 basketball players. We had one young man from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. One from Atlanta.
Thank you, Mr. Petway.
And one from Marietta, went to Wheeler High School. So,
cool.
Very cool. And
can never go wrong with signing kids from Wheeler.
No, that's pretty much a factory, isn't it?
It is.
And the one thing that happened last night that we didn't talk about, it was the unveiling of the banner.
Yes, the banner for the championship was
A-Sun Championship, and it also had something on there about NCAA tournament. Yeah, so it was a really cool banner.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're going to do with it because they hung it up over the rails at the end of the court, and by halftime it was gone. So
I think it's going to be in the rafters.
I think
it's going to be up in the rafters where everything else will be.
All in all, it was a good game.
All right, cool. Well, appreciate you coming on and giving us a recap of what's going on. Let's get Alvin Jamison out of the way. We'll have to do a lot of talking in the last 45 minutes.
Hey, Alvin Jamison here, the mortgage guy. Are you looking to get pre-approved for a home loan? Or maybe you want to build a house from the ground up? Are you curious? Or better yet, is your significant other on your back about making renovations in your current home? Call me. I have options for you. All self-employed individuals. Are you torn between writing off all your income or having to show your income to qualify for a house, I have a third alternative for you. A W-2 employee, self-employed individual looking to do a purchase or pull out of your current house, or better yet, we can't forget the investors out there. If you have that high interest rate, hard money loan, and looking to refinance out of it, again, give me a call. I have options. Below are the states that I'm personally licensed in. Call me, 404-587-9033. Again, 404-587-9033. Visit the website, alvinjameson.com.
All right, we're back. Thank you, Alvin Jameson, for being a sponsor of the Owls Who Live Sports.
That's us, baby.
That's us, baby. So you guys, thanks for coming. We have got a new guest on now, somebody we've been trying to get on for a while, and he is a big basketball season ticket holder, and he says he has stories for us tonight, like you've never heard. So if you would, give me a big hootie hoo for Bill Borden.
Hey Chuck, I'm Mr. Kenny. How you doing?
We're good. How are you, buddy?
Good to see you, Bill.
Good to see you.
Glad to finally get you on here.
Yeah.
So tell us how you got involved with KSU.
Oh God, that's a long time ago.
We got a lot to talk about. We got a lot of time. Let's go.
Yeah. Well, back
Four score
and many years ago, when we were still over in the old gym and we had folding chairs behind the team, we decided to do a 100 club, or actually we didn't decide. Tony Engel decided to do a 100 club to help support the basketball.
Who was the coach at the time?
Tony Engel, the only double Hall of Famer in the state of Georgia for men's basketball. And
where are those two Hall of Fames? One's state, one's...
One is NCAA, the other one, help me out with that.
Oh, I don't.
One state and one's Kennesaw?
No, one of them is, give me a second. I get my initials mixed up.
No, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
All right, so anyway, we got 100 people together and got Tony some money, and it was quite the 100 Club, plaques and everything, and Tony was always very helpful in making sure that we knew everything was going on, and I even made the comment last night. This, our new coach,
Pitway.
Coach Pitway is to me, a young, energetic Tony Engel.
Is he really?
I mean, he's up and down that sideline. He's talking to those kids like Coach ought to talk to those kids. He's putting his head against them and saying, let's do it the
He's
right
not
way.
Bobby Knight throwing chairs over there?
No.
Is that why you chose your seats, so you could listen to that type of stuff?
That is exactly why I chose those seats. Not only can I listen to what's going on with what the coach is telling them right there in the front row, right behind the scores table. I can point out when the scores are making a mistake. I can see the instant replay, and when the refs come over and look at their instant replay, they ain't no way they can't hear what I'm telling them.
We can't hear anything. Oh yeah.
So Bill's kind of off cat corner from the team, but right behind the end of the scores table.
Right there in the front row behind you. See everything. Great seats. Actually, the same seats we had in the old auditorium.
Back when it was a folding chair.
Back when it was a folding chair with these fancy cloth covers that they put on the back. It was very nice.
That's cool.
And back when you had to walk across the floor to get to your seats.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's a small gym.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
I played many basketball games in that gym.
In the old gym?
Yeah.
Yeah, because have you played basketball in the new gym yet?
No.
Yeah, okay.
I shot a free throw one time and made it.
Oh,
but that was it.
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
So it, moved to Atlanta many years ago, back in the 70s, and, married Brenda from Atlanta, a native Atlantan, born downtown.
Hi, Brenda.
Brenda's over there, yeah. Hi, Brenda. Yeah, and, of course, being from Kentucky originally, that's where, it's where basketball was invented. That's what we say. It's definitely where basketball was invented.
Naismith, right?
Yeah. And, even one of my alma maters, Western Kentucky University.
We're going to get into that in a little bit.
Our library, the library there still has the center court, because that used to be the basketball gymnasium
Is it the library?
It was where the library was. They turned the gymnasium into a library.
That's very cool.
They still had the hoops there for a while, and they still have it cut in the carpet.
In the carpet.
In the library before they built the E.A. Diddle Arena.
E.A. Diddle.
1963 and 4.
So they say, "A diddle diddle."
No, you didn't do that to Coach Diddle.
Hey, diddle diddle. What's that big
What's
red
that in the
guy
middle?
in the middle?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to get into that a little bit. We want to
Okay.
talk about KSU for a little bit
yeah,
first.
so anyway, watching KSU, just like Carrick has been around, Bill's been around, you've been around. We've watched KSU through its ups and downs. I still have the championship team's basketball in my office in a case, signed by all of them. Right after we talked with them there when Coach was Tony was coaching them, and I love asking people, asking them like, now, this basketball, do you know which college in Georgia this basketball is from? Because this is signed by the only NCAA championship team in the state of Georgia for men's basketball. Ever. And, of course, it's not Tech. It's not Georgia.
No,
it's not even Georgia Southern.
It's the Owls.
That's right. The only
Big
NCAA
hooty-hoo.
team ever. That's
Yeah,
right.
that's cool. So, so you've had season tickets for quite a while.
22. This is our 23rd year.
Wow.
Yeah, 23rd year having
Yeah.
season
It's a little
tickets.
longer than our intern has been alive.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that happens. That happens. Yeah, just a little longer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
21st birthday. Still
Happy
can't
birthday.
believe that.
Thank you.
Did you hear me singing?
No, I
We all
had my
sang.
head in my hands and
Hey,
I
I
was.
was singing.
There was a really good octave coming from that
Yeah.
area. It was Bill.
It was Bill.
me. It was
Yeah.
me. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. So, did you go to Greensboro last year?
We did. We went to Greensboro
yeah, I did
too.
I
That was
remember
that
seeing
was
it.
awesome. Yeah, and the fact that we got there, that was fantastic.
Yeah. Are you and
know?
Brenda or the team?
Well, me and Brendan, the whole
He was glad everybody was able to drive up 85, but
Right.
he was speaking, I think, more about that team.
Oh, it was a
Yeah.
blast. They had a big tailgating thing out front that Francis put together, and
very
I
nice.
don't know if you experienced the same thing we did, but everybody asked us where Kennesaw was.
Oh yeah.
All the Xavier fans, when we were walking, where's Kennesaw?
Where's Kennesaw?
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
actually had, because we had a lot of the season ticket holders there, as you saw, and we had some of the old NCAA championship team members there.
That's nice. That's always good.
They came up, and and one of them brought his 2 sons, so that was pretty cool too.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
I think you were just down below us
Yep.
in the
and,
game. Yeah,
and
I remember seeing you
amazingly,
down
right
there.
down the aisle, there was a bunch of Kennesaw fans that had come over, and they actually had one of the sisters had Xavier on. So
Wow.
we had to ask her to go back to the other side of the. No.
We're all. It's all about love here, but you need to go.
Right,
You
exactly.
go now.
We did. But she voluntarily went.
Well, that's good. That's
because
good.
we came out of the gate strong there for a little.
Oh,
bit.
yeah.
So she
Very
voluntarily
strong.
went to the other side. It
So
was-
what'd you think about the newest edition of KSU Owls last night?
well, I thought it was in the twilight zone.
Yep.
We did great last year and everything, but I literally turned around and asked Patrick and a couple of the guys. I said, "These refs, it's different when you are going to the NCAA, when you are going to the championship, when you're unfurling banners. You get a whole different brand of referees that
Yeah.
are out there, and they let the boys play. They weren't
They
calling
did let them
penalty
play.
stuff, and our boys were playing last night, and I was impressed." We loved the fact seeing Burton back. That was fantastic, seeing those guys back. The new crop, when he started at freshman last night, that was great too.
Sherman's a freshman, right?
Yep. And
And
Cottle,
King, the guy
Cottle
from
was
West-
there, and
yeah.
King,
Cottle
yeah,
was great.
And R.J. Johnson.
yeah. They Johnson, he was doing awesome. All of those guys, they were playing as a team last night. There was not just one guy out front. I did feel a little sorry for Terrell because, man, they beat him up. They were scared of him when he went in.
Yeah,
and,
Carrick was talking a little bit
yeah.
about that. Yeah.
and
Knocking them down as much as they could.
as much as they could. Yeah,
He's a
But,
tough kid, though.
He was.
It'll
He
take more
was.
than that.
I was a little worried what we were going to do though, because I don't think I've ever seen the scoreboard go over 100, and we were getting close.
We did last year one
Did we?
time. I
Okay,
think,
yeah.
yeah. I think it was the first game last year that we hit 100.
Oh, that's right. That's right. There
Yeah.
was one.
But
Yeah.
we were 93. I predicted 96 at halftime. I said because they're going to put some other players in, they probably won't get there.
You know, there's a section of us over there that when we hit 70, it's still chicken biscuit time.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys remember that, but back when we weren't winning a lot of games and we didn't get to 70 a lot, we had a couple of sponsors that they give us chicken biscuits to everybody in the stands when you just went in and showed them your ticket.
That's
and,
good.
And you got a chicken biscuit.
So
we hit 70.
where did you go to get this chicken biscuit?
Bojangles.
There you
Went
go.
over to
There you go.
Bojangles. But of course they couldn't afford to do it last night because they had both stands open up on top, and we were getting close to capacity there.
Right.
Yeah, it was pretty close. Bill said
And it definitely wouldn't be 70 anymore. There'd be
Right.
free biscuits for 105.
Right.
Carrick said that the fifth largest crowd they've ever had
I can believe that.
last night. Yeah.
That's
can
good.
believe that.
That's good to see that everybody's getting behind them to start the season.
Well, I think the first game last year they might have had 100 or 200 people, but it was
Right.
a lot of
Wasn't
people
many.
last night. It was really, really cool. I noticed when we got to the parking deck, it was hard to find a parking spot.
Yeah. You don't get the reserve parking like Carrick and I do?
No.
Oh, we'll see if we can work on that. See if
Yeah.
we can get him-
Wait,
I'm-
East deck or Central deck?
Yes. East
on the-
deck.
No, it's the reserve parking right out front there, so you don't have to walk
Well,
around
yeah,
the
but
road.
which deck?
No, it's
Oh,
not
East
in a
deck.
deck.
it's not in
Off
a
of
deck.
Fry
It's
Road.
not in a deck.
Their parking
you pull
is-
up, you
I
pull up
parked in the
front,
East
and the
deck.
valet takes your car to one of
Okay.
the other. We don't know where they park them.
But I
We're not-
parked in the East deck.
East deck is nice as long as you don't park in Central.
We
Yeah.
still don't know all of the jobs that ATI will have now that he's working with the school, but we think there's a decent chance one of these times when you and Carrick pull into the parking lot, you're going to flip
That
your
is
keys
not
to
gonna be.
him.
Yeah.
Hey, ATI, park my car.
No,
No?
no.
No? Okay.
I'm doing like social media for him and stuff.
Okay.
So, Bill, we're going to be doing an Owls app, which is
good.
really, really cool. And we need a sponsor, $300 for the year, and we'll have you on it, and we'll make you a sponsor of this show for a year.
My picture?
If you want it,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll do that.
All right.
We'll get you on
No,
the.
I don't want my picture on it.
But we'll get you on the website. We'll get you on
Especially
here.
don't want it with these glasses
Put
on.
Brenda's on there.
Yeah, we'll put Brenda's
But yeah,
on.
if you want to do that, Larry can show you an example of the app
Yeah,
when
well,
he gets off here.
Larry and I'll talk about that after. Okay?
Yeah, I think that'd be a good
yeah,
thing.
that'd be good.
Do you follow the other sports as much as you do basketball?
But you know, of course, we follow the Braves. We've got several seats there at the Braves, that season tickets that we keep, and we love doing the Braves. I'm more of a single sports kind of guy. I do any
Individualistic sport?
any individualistic sport that's 60 below weather, I'm good with.
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
I like that.
I like following 60 below stuff and weather
And for
sports
people
stuff.
who are trying to follow along with this, you got to remember the guy at the end of the table. He's did the Iditarod.
He's the
probably
only Georgian
he's
ever to
probably
complete
the only
the
guy you're
Iditarod.
ever going to run into in your life. Have you ever gone with a team of dogs a couple thousand miles? Why, yes, I have. Yeah, it's just not a normal thing.
Well,
It's not.
No, it's one time we went out. Of course, it is the Iditarod. It's 1,151 miles, but we went out to wish the Adidas off. The Adidas are the bicyclist, the cross-country skiers, and the snow
Who are
machiners.
going to try to do the exact same 1,100 miles?
No, they're only going to do 440.
Okay.
And I went out, and several of us went out to thank them, and they were very, very nice, appreciative. We came out there, had a blast talking to them before they were getting ready to take off, and I gathered them all together. And of course, they wanted to talk to us about going all the way and all that with the dogs and everything. And we told them, say, look, you got to understand, guys, we really thank a lot of you guys for doing this, and we appreciate that you've come along in the last 15, 20 years to do this, because up until y'all started this, they thought we were idiots.
I'm all of a sudden the smart guy in this picture.
That's funny. We're going to have another segment with Bill, but we're going to go ahead and get to our commercial.
Go do our last one right now?
Going to do our last one, yeah.
Man, we're getting everything out of the way. I
Yeah.
tell you. All right. Tired of going to the same old places for the same old thing? American Access has your solution. Whether you're looking for something new to do before or after the game, bachelor or bachelorette party, or something new to do when you have guests in from out of town, American Access, with their 3 Atlanta locations in Marietta, Tucker, and now in downtown at the Works, they've got your answer to let's do something different. Look us up at American Access or give us a call at 763-3635 to schedule your next adventure.
And thank you, Dan Fisher, for being a sponsor of the Owls Who Live Sports, along with our American Axe, and Alvin Jameson with his lending company, and Brian Bristow with Kennesaw and Lost Mountain Lube Express. We appreciate you all being sponsors of the Owls Who Live Sports.
Hooty-hoo!
Hooty-hoo! So we got some... we do our picks every week, Bill, at the end of the show. And Will, do you know Will Renfro? So Will will come over here and he'll do the picks.
Okay.
And we don't pick the winner, we pick the losers, and we give the losers the American Axe. So that's what we do. And every week we've been picking Conference USA teams, right?
Right.
And every time we pull up, get to the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers, Carrick says, you need to get Bill Morton on the show to tell us about the Blob. So we now want to hear the story of the Blob.
All right, I'm going to take you back a few years then. All right, and I'm going to tell you a little bit of history about
The Red Blobs.
the Red Blob and how
Love
the Red
it.
Blob
Love
came
it.
to be. So the Western Kentucky University, now I know I don't look old enough to have started Western Kentucky University
Clearly
in
not.
1964. Okay.
Wow.
But I
At the
actually,
age of 3.
At the age of 4. I was actually in preschool because back then it was called Western Kentucky State Teachers College. Started as a normal school back in the early century. So I was actually this kid, one of 30, that we were in we were the students that taught the teachers how to teach on the hill. And the hill is actually in Bowling Green. It's about 200 feet in elevation above downtown Bowling Green.
It's crazy. I've driven to
Right.
the hill.
And I made a mistake one year when I was back there in college of actually taking a class. Somehow my schedule ended up, I had one class at the top of the hill, one class at the bottom of the hill, and one class at the top of the hill, and boy, was I in great shape by the end of that semester. Up and down, up and down. But interestingly enough, the reason I go there, in 1964, my kindergarten, first grade, all the way through 70 or so, our playground was at the very top of the hill right next to the main Cherry Hall, and it's now a parking lot. But right next to our playground, steps went down to an old house, a nice house. A nice house that this gentleman lived in that was absolutely phenomenal.
Did he have any affiliation with the school?
He actually did. His name was Coach E.A. Diddle. And myself and Mike Boggs, Jim Pickens, who was Little Jim, we called him. He was the baseball coaches that Pickens Field's named after on campus. It was his son. He was in my class. He's now a sports writer up in Kentucky, in Owensboro. And we would go down, and several of us would sit on his porch. We hardly ever did the playground. We would sit on his porch, and then, of course, we had student IDs, and he still had his coach's box in the newly minted, only a year old, E.A. Diddle Arena at the base of the hill. And we would go sit in his box with him, and we roamed everywhere. And here were these first and second and third graders, just in sixth grader, roaming around like college students and watching the games. I mean, in 1972 we were there when big Jim McDaniels was on the team, and went all the way to the NCAA. Interestingly enough, though, I'm going to take you back a little more to answer your question about the Big Red Blob, which I absolutely hated. Back in late 40s, 47, 48, 49, something like that, they had towels at Western, and the athletics had their towels. But when the athletics had their towels, there was also this other department, which was the physical ed and recreation department. Well, there wasn't enough towels to go around, and they kept stealing each other's towels. So Coach Diddle
This
decided,
is a problem in the 40s. It
Right.
wasn't just in
Right.
Kentucky. People,
Right.
there was a towel shortage because of the war.
Right. So
It's crazy.
they started stealing each other's towels. Well, Coach Diddle got wise and decided he would dye the towels that the athletic department used red. Now, this man, even when I knew him, when he had just retired, he would walk up and down the hill, and he would, or up and down the court, clench the towel, throw the towel, wave the towel, cry on the towel. That red towel became synonymous with Coach E.A. Diddle. Coach E.A. Diddle, even after he retired, jumped up on the scorer's table one time, getting everybody to cheer with the towels. Of course, they wanted him to get down, but he was E.A. Diddle. You didn't tell E.A. Diddle what to do.
He was 87, but by God, he was up on that table.
Now, interestingly enough, and I'm sure you guys have heard of Clem Haskins. You know, right before he retired, he recruited Clem Haskins. Ended up playing in Boston, I believe it was, and Smith, his teammate. He was the first to desegregate the Western Kentucky University basketball.
Clem
players.
Haskins was one of the two.
Clem Haskins was his
Very cool
player, and that was one of the first ones. So fast forward now, as the Hilltoppers are up there, we had, and I don't remember this, I'm not that old, we had a red, white, and blue Kentucky Colonel-looking guy in a tux that they called the Topper, and he had a top hat, and that was the most ridiculous.
And it came
mascot.
Because it was
a
the
mascot.
top
So
of the
that's
hill.
they
It
got
was
the
top of
Hilltoppers.
And that because they're the Hilltoppers, right? There was a great Jimmy Vaughn in the 1950s, was a great jazz musician that ended up making top 3, had a bunch of top records. His group was called the Jimmy Vaughn and the Hilltoppers, and that was a nationwide hit. So the Hilltoppers all came from there. They used to shoot. There's still a Civil War bunker on the top of Western Kentucky University's hill where they would shoot across the Barren River, north and south. That was actually one of the fighting lines, just like here in Kennesaw. So there's still a Civil War bunker and a bridge and everything up there. There's still tunnels underneath the hill where we used to go through as kids and play hooky and have a great time. But we had this crazy thing called the Topper. Nobody liked it. In the 1950s, it got switched. Now we called him the Hilltopper. But now he looked like Daniel Boone with a rat-tailed cap, coonskin cap. So as Coach Diddle had retired and his house became what they call the Diddle Dorm for all the men's basketball players, and now it's a park. It later actually fell down from termites, but that's another story. In 1979, they were trying to decide what they were going to do. Well, at the time, the athletic director, Johnny Oldham, had actually commissioned and had drawn I think he may have even drawn it, a hand holding a towel, a red towel. A hand holding a red towel. It was actually an elderly hand.
Like the helping hand on the
Right.
Betty Crocker commercials or whatever.
And it was waving, and that became one of the athletics logos. So here you had this red towel, and it was a logo. Well, you can't really have a mascot that's a red towel. Or you'd have to have a really skinny person to wear it. And they came up with this, a senior at the time in 1979. They had a contest. The senior showed up. He wore it the first year. And it cost about $200 to make it with fake fur, aluminum, PVC piping. And it was one of the first mascots. The hula hoops. And it was one of the first mascots that could eat cheerleaders, and spit them back out and all that. It does some great.
Hey, ATI's 21 tonight. Don't get them too excited.
Need to go to Western Kentucky.
Yeah. And anyway, so in 1979, Big Red was introduced during the basketball season. And Greg, somebody I believe was his name, he decided to build that. It cost him about $200. He won. He was the first Big Red. They have auditions for Big Red now because Big Red has different facial expressions and it changes and they're not fixed. And now if you are the Big Red mascot, nobody knows who you are. You can't tell anybody who you are until you graduate, but you get to wear the Big Red paws across the graduation stage so they know you were one of the mascots. And you take Big Red embodies the spirit of that towel, and that was the only way they could do it, was the Big Red towel. Bless you, Chuck.
Thank you.
Do you need a red towel to sneeze into?
I'm okay.
Okay.
I'm just imagining when he was making the original ones. You know how red dye is? Yeah.
Oh,
Here,
yeah.
use this red dye.
Right.
Everybody's face is red.
Well, and I remember, because I was actually, even though I started in '64, I was in college in '79. And I often kid with my accountant who just retired, Jim Polk, here in Atlanta. He actually went to Western, and I would introduce him to people. I think we're boring the producer over here.
Oh, no, he's good. He's soaking it all in.
So I'd always kid. I said, let me introduce you to Jim here. Jim and I both went to Western Kentucky at the same time. Well, they'd look at me, and they'd look at him. I go, oh, yeah, he was a graduating college senior. I was in kindergarten.
But we were there.
But we were there at the same time.
Pull up the photo. Go ahead, Bill.
Well, so anyway.
Which one?
The mascot.
What happened is Big Red continues to be that embodiment of that red towel and coming from E.A. Diddle. Now, interestingly enough, if you look in
I'm showing the picture of Big Red with Grimace.
Right.
Blobby.
But if you look at Big Red, he always has WKU on him.
Correct.
And there has been some lawsuits in Italy. In Italy, there is a television character where Big Red, it looks just like Big Red. It doesn't have, but he's got clothes on, no WKU, and he has a mustache. And they sued Western for copyright infringement when Western started in '79, and they didn't start that until 2001.
Oh, yeah, because that's how that works.
Right. And so now, naturally, Western has won that particular lawsuit.
You know, you brought something up earlier, and I hadn't thought about it, so I wanted to check my numbers here. Clem Haskins started there in '64.
Correct.
Which, it was breaking ground. That was brand new stuff. Kentucky didn't lose. The all-white Kentucky team did not lose to the all-black Texas, the future UTEP team, for 2 extra years. So was it cutting edge when you were at Western in Bowling Green? It's like, wow, we got this guy on it, because right down the road they're like, yeah, we don't want that guy.
Yeah, well, it was
for a couple more years.
Well, not only was it very cutting edge, it was a very forward-thinking campus, believe it or not.
I do believe that.
And very forward-thinking campus, still very forward today. President Tim, who is there today, followed some great presidents like Gary Ransdale. D. Rowe Downing was the first president. And it's always been that forward thinking because it was a teacher's college. They were teaching the next generation's teachers how to teach.
Right.
And it became, it started as a normal school, then Western Kentucky State Teachers College, then Western Kentucky University. And just some of the history of the campus is absolutely phenomenal.
I went to the campus for the very first time 2 years ago, and as you were saying, I drove through town, and then at the end of town, I mean, literally, we're not talking about a hill like where it just goes up. It's like a freaking hill that goes straight up, and it's like, how is the whole school? Why is the whole school on top?
It fell off the back of the it fell off the back of the hill. I mean, now it goes on for
it keeps going in the other direction
for
away
miles,
away
for
from
miles.
town.
And interestingly enough, back in 1973, they built the tallest dorm in the United States, 23 stories, waivers at the top, 2 to 3 inches, and it was one of the first co-ed dorms in the state of Kentucky, Commonwealth of Kentucky, which happened
we
to
know
be,
what was causing wavering.
but it wasn't truly co-ed because they were separated by floors. So they had to meet on the stairs.
And let me tell you, those guys always, we can't get off at floor 7. You know the rules.
Oh, yeah.
You know the rules.
Right. And can't do that.
Yeah.
Can't do that. But a lot of interesting things about that campus. But one of the memories I have is, actually sitting and listening to Coach Diddle and just sitting on his front porch and listening to all those stories. And of course, he recruited Coach Haskins before he left to play, him and his teammate Smith, and it was just phenomenal that they were actually able to do that and break those kind of grounds. And of course, then in 1972, I remember when the team came back from the NCAA championship and everybody met them. I want to say, well, as a kid, I mean, I was 12, 13 years old. I can remember that I think it was late. Maybe they got in at 8 or 9 o'clock, but everybody was there, and it was filling everybody up right there in front of the Diddle Arena.
That's awesome. Well, we want to thank you for the Diddle stories. And so he's not really a blob. He's just Big Red.
He is the spirit embodiment of Coach Diddle's towel.
All right.
And Coach Diddle wouldn't have a problem if the other people wouldn't have been stealing his towel. He would have never dyed it red, and we probably would be looking at a different color for the team.
You used to have like an Uncle Sam mascot till the time.
We'd be looking at the Daniel Boone dude,
the
topper or the topper.
That's very good.
Yeah.
Good day.
Like Mr. Peanut.
Yeah.
Like
But
I
Big
sound
Red,
like a chimney sweep all of a sudden.
Before we
Good
go, I gotta
day.
say you gotta check the mascot competitions. Big Red's taking it, wiping it out all the time.
I do enjoy it whenever I think that's Capital One that does it. They do the thing, and he's always there. there. You know,
Yeah.
he kind of reminds me of Kool-Aid.
Yeah, I think
you
he's
know,
won
'cause
it
he kinda looks
7
like the
times.
Kool-
Yeah, that's
if he
the
does-
first
yeah.
thing I thought of when I saw that.
If he had the little pour,
Mr. Kool-Aid, if he had a little handle on it, he would be
Right.
Mr. Kool-Aid.
Seven times, and
Yeah.
he's the only mascot can bite the head off the other mascots.
There you
when
go.
they play them.
Well, Bill,
Clearly.
thanks for coming on. I hope
Thanks,
you'll come
Jack.
back.
All right, see you. Take
Give me
care.
a big hootie hoo for Bill Gordon. Thank you, Bill. That's great stories. We've been wanting to know what was going on at Western Kentucky.
I don't think anybody could have guessed it was going to be that.
No.
You know, but you know, it's so weird. You know, like you said, somebody's stealing somebody else's towel, and they had to, and he chose to dye it red, and that's the only reason why they're that color.
Yeah.
That's weird.
That's crazy. I guess that was his favorite color or whatever.
I don't know, but like I said, have you ever dyed with anything red? Red is the most, you know, if a red drop falls on anything else, it's ruined everything else.
It's permanent.
So when he's dyeing these things, and then what are you doing? You're hot and sweaty, and you start to, you know, it's just be running down
Looks
your
like
face.
you got the measles or something.
Yeah, I'm pretty close.
All right. Well, we want to welcome back
Who's
in
the
our
guy at the end?
our good friend Will Renfro, fresh from. Oh, look at that.
Huntsville, Texas.
They love you.
Hooty hoo.
Yeah, hooty hoo to you. So fresh from Huntsville, Texas, and went straight from the football game to the basketball game last night. Tell us about your experience at Huntsville, Texas.
Oh man, we had a fantastic trip. So I flew into to Houston, and we stayed in College Station because A&M did not have a home game. So
Plenty of hotels
there's
because
hotels
of that.
in College Station. There's
Sure.
not many in Huntsville.
Sure.
So we stayed there, had a great steak dinner on Friday night,
Got some barbecue while you're out there,
and
too?
got some barbecue Saturday night.
Did you get brisket? You
Well,
get Texas brisket.
We got brisket and chicken.
Okay.
And between me and my wife, we got both. And
Did
sort
you
of
eat
shared-
chili?
I did
Did it
not
have
eat chili.
beans? Sorry, it's the only question I'm really concerned about nowadays.
I did not eat any beans, any chili.
Yeah. Cool.
But we had a great and several people went on a little tour of A&M.
Oh,
So
Carrick went on that tour, didn't he?
Yeah, Carrick went on that tour. So the athletic director took several people. We had some other donors that were on the trip with on the trip with the team.
I gotcha.
And he took them through the tour of A&M and says, "Hey, this is what we want to build."
Yeah.
he's like a 12th man.
That's a little optimistic, but you know, they've been around a while. But
Have you ever seen the pictures of their bonfire? And it went awry one year, and
yes,
I don't
and,
know.
and some guys, passed, you know, died because of
but
that.
that was like, you know, where they would get these 40-foot trees, and they'd get, you look at it and you're like, holy, who does a fire like this?
with
Just
cranes.
people in Texas. Yeah, just people in Texas.
Yeah. Well, in Texas, yeah. Texas is a little bit different.
Yeah. Well, you know,
And
A&M might be a little brother, but they're like, I ain't nobody else's little brother.
And they treat their interstates like the Autobahn.
Lord.
There's no speed
There
limits.
are no speed limits. That's truly true in Montana, isn't it? Montana, where they have no speed limits?
I think so.
They're actually, every place has a speed limit again.
Does it?
Yep.
Okay.
But there is a 85.
Speed limit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this was a 75 speed limit in a 2-lane road.
Yeah, that people didn't care about.
Lane
Like that.
road.
Between College Station and Huntsville, I mean, it was just hammer down and
It was
go.
boogity boogity.
Yeah.
Let's go
Boogity,
racing, boys.
boogity.
Let's go racing, boys. Oh, that's cool.
And we won, like, you know, 99% of the game.
Yeah, it's
But
tough. when
that
you
was
lose
that
at
was
the
a
last
very
minute.
tough loss. That was our third, as we talked about earlier, that was our third loss to an FBS school by a field goal.
Correct.
And it hurt. But
So next year will be our first FBS victory.
yeah, we,
Because Lynchburg's not FBS.
no,
right?
no,
Yeah.
they're
No, they're NAIA, I believe.
they're a very small school. Lynchburg is about a 500 enrollment,
Okay.
between
Cool.
500 and 600.
And they're all on the football team? Or
Yes,
Pretty close.
pretty
Yeah,
close
it's
to
an
it.
HBCU school in Lynchburg. It's
Oh, it's HBCU?
Yes. I
did
Oh,
not
okay.
know that.
I did not know that either. All right, cool.
It's probably, I don't mean to speak off the cuff on something I'm not that knowledgeable on. Clearly, that's possibly the northernmost HBCU.
Probably so.
Because that's typically a deep south thing.
Howard is pretty far north.
Howard's Washington D.C.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, and Hampton is in Virginia, is in the northeast corner of Virginia.
Right.
So yeah, but it is
It's
Virginia.
up.
So,
They're up
yeah.
there, yeah. All right, give us your 1-minute synopsis of the basketball game last night, and we'll get into our picks.
Oh, it was fast and loud. It was
Yeah.
awesome.
It was fast, yeah. rebound and go. That's kind of what I'd call that offense. Rebound and go.
Yeah.
Fill the lanes and let's shoot.
Yeah, somebody behind me went, "Are we going to run a play or just run and shoot?" I was like,
It seemed very like schoolyard ball, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It did.
but there was an emphasis on getting back on defense.
Oh, absolutely.
It wasn't like just outdoor courtyard basketball. There was some effort on the defensive end.
Oh, absolutely.
There's some beautiful things with half-court basketball when there's 12 seconds left in the game and you call a timeout and you're running that play. But pushing the ball gives you so many more opportunities to score easy buckets, before they're able to set up a defense. So I'm all about that. I think it's going to be great.
All right, so we got 10 minutes to do our picks. Let's get into them.
All right.
ODU plus 13.5 at Liberty this weekend. Liberty's still undefeated, right?
Yes.
Yep.
All right. Who you got, Robert?
I'm going with the team that's undefeated. I've gone with them this entire year. They haven't played anybody, but that's okay. They can still go undefeated. It's going to make that Kennesaw State win over Liberty next year that much sweeter.
Didn't ODU beat somebody this year that's regular FBS?
Virginia.
Was it
Tech,
Virginia?
maybe?
Yeah, one of them. I feel like I heard they beat somebody.
I haven't watched much ODU football.
Yeah.
You slacked off on the ODU football?
Yes.
I don't think anybody at ODU has.
You're Adam the intern, man. You can't slack off on that kind of stuff. We count on you.
You're
for
right.
ODU.
I'll watch ODU basketball.
All right. So, Will, who's your pick while ADI is looking at it?
I'm definitely going with Liberty. It's at Liberty. Great home field advantage. They got that new stadium. I'm going with Liberty.
They beat App State and they lost to Wake Forest by 3.
Okay.
Old Dominion.
Yes.
ODU gets the axe. Liberty's
Beating App State's pretty decent squad.
Yeah. Liberty's going to cover. All right. Sam Houston, where we were last week, versus La Tech.
I'd like my close friend Will to go first, because if he tells me I don't like any of the people in Sam Houston, I'd like to know that before I make my pick.
Well, Sam Houston has played a lot of close games.
They have.
They went 2 overtime games. Well, one of them was the double overtime game, I think, against Jacksonville State.
Correct.
They don't get blown out, so the 7.5 points. If it was 6.5, I might go the other way, but I'm going to go with Sam Houston because they got 7.5.
And their fans did not offend you enough over the weekend to where you decided never to go with them again.
I will say, was the first time I was at a football game when a guy in the student section was holding up a sign that said, bench the quarterback or something. I don't remember I can't remember his name, but it was like he was not a fan of their quarterback.
Well, I'll go Sam Houston as well, because they have been in a lot of close games.
Yeah.
And I'll go La Tech, giving them the axe to agree with my buddy Will.
All right.
Boy,
3 across the board. Here we go.
yeah, this is never good. If you're betting at home, go opposite whenever everyone agrees.
All right, New Mexico State at Western Kentucky on the Hilltoppers. Bill, who's going to win the football game this weekend? Western Kentucky. Bill
Go figure.
takes Western Kentucky.
He told me before the show, he's like, 4.5 favorites? That's crazy. We should be 11.5 point favorites. So I'm going with Bill. I'll take the what's the coach's name? Diddle. I'll take the Diddle Red Blobs.
The fighting Diddles.
The fighting Diddle Red Blobs will definitely cover this one.
Yeah. Hey, if New Mexico State has to climb up that hill, they'll be winded by the time they get to the field. New Mexico State gets the axe.
They're from Las Cruces. They're good with elevation change.
I'm gonna go opposite on this one. I'm going with New Mexico because when I showed my wife the mascot for Western Kentucky, she was well offended. So that's just awful.
You need to go listen to the show and listen to the story. Bill just told us all about how the mascot came to be.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the red blob, big red is what it's called.
We had our own little separate argument going on over there about different stuff. So.
Oh, did you? Cool. All right, so a couple of more. Oh, we kind of caught up on time. Yeah, FIU at MTSU. So that's FIU is the Owls, right? Or is that FAU?
FAU is the Owls. FIU is the Jaguars.
The Jaguars. Thank you. So the Jaguars at the Blue Raiders.
11 points going all the way up to Nash Vegas. I'm going to take the boys from just outside Nash Vegas and Murfreesboro. I'll take the blue guys minus all them points.
Same here. FIU, the Jaguars are going to lose their spots this weekend. The Blue Raiders will
Blue Raiders. Look at that. Losing spots.
take care
Not as
of the Jaguars.
not as good as the Purple Raiders, Mount Union. But I'll take Middle Tennessee State. I like watching Middle Tennessee State
How did we get to Union?
because the Mount Union is the Purple Raiders.
There's a lot of Raiders.
Yeah,
Texas
but
Tech
I
Red
was
Raiders.
just saying they're not good as Mount Union
Oh,
because
okay.
Mount Union's won like 11 straight D3 championships.
Ah, okay.
I think they're about as bad as the Blue Hose from Presbyterian.
blue-
as long as-
The Purple Paladins from Furman.
There we go. So MTSU is who I'm going with.
So MTSU across the board.
And let me just bring this up as long as we're talking about crazy nickname. Does anybody know the nickname of the Cartersville High School team?
Yeah.
No,
I do.
Go
Purple
ahead.
Hurricanes.
They're the Purple Hurricanes. Now that's kind of a weird, unique thing. They're the Purple Hurricanes, not the Green Hurricanes or the Red Hurricanes or anything else. Did you know that have you ever heard of Fitzgerald, Georgia?
Yes.
Yeah, I got
Yeah.
friends from
No.
Fitzgerald.
Guess what the Fitzgerald team
Oh,
name
I
is?
used to know this. But I can't remember it.
Repeat what you said a minute ago, and you'll be
Purple
right.
Hurricanes?
Purple
They are the purple.
Hurricanes.
How could you have two sets of purple hurricanes
same state.
In the same state. It's like I don't know who got it first, but something's weird there.
Yeah, I had
Just
friends at Georgia Southern from Fitzgerald. Yeah.
Fitzgerald, Georgia.
Yeah.
Had a Greyhound bus leave me there one time. That's a story for another day.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah,
right now.
that sounds like longer than a 4-minute story.
Oh yeah.
All right, so we got 4 minutes left to talk about the big game of the weekend. Virginia Lynchburg here to take on our Fighting Owls
Aren't
at
they
Fifth Bank Stadium.
The Blue Dragons or something?
I don't know.
they are. Yes,
There's some kind of dragon.
because I had to look at them for the game notes.
Dragging the line, Tommy James and Shondell, that kind of dragon. Dragging the line. I love that song. I feel fine.
Yeah, let's find out this team name before I make a pick, because if they're
Yeah, you need to know that mascot.
absolutely, clearly, it's one of the things
They
that
are the Dragons.
just regular dragons that just so happen to be purple, but not
They're
purple
not-
dragons.
Puff the Magic Dragon,
But their mascot's a little different color than the UAB Dragons, so that's where I came up with the blue one.
but the UAB is
because-
Blazers.
That's because the Italians sued them, and
And while we're checking this out before we go to the game, I promised George only that I would mention Art Ekman.
I just saw that.
Yeah, Art Ekman, Carrick. What position did Art Ekman hold at KSU?
He was in the communications department.
He was SID, right? Yeah, he helped.
Was not the SID.
He helped train the SID. So Art Ekman passed away this week, and George had asked me to mention that on the show. So peace and prayers for his family. So he used to be the sports guy on 11 Alive here too, right? Art Ekman did. So
He sure did.
Yeah.
He sure did.
so what have we found out about these Dragons?
They look like they're just blue. They kind of look like. It kind of looks like how
They
to
are. They are just the Dragons.
Okay.
It kind of looks like the How to Train Your Dragon logo. It's kind of
What's VUL?
That's a different team.
Virginia University Lynchburg.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
It's
Yeah.
not a different team. That's,
No, it
that's
is
them.
okay. They are in the NCCAA Division I South.
beautiful.
They've won 2 games this year against
Just like us.
Fort Lauderdale Eagles and Lane. The Lane Dragons. The only time they could beat anything was when they played another dragon.
That's funny. So 3 o'clock kickoff, 6 o'clock kickoff.
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock kickoff. All right. So Robert, now
I
that
did-
you've got the Dragons down pat,
Now that I understand everything as much as I needed to, and I wasn't just killing time because we have an hour-long show. That's ludicrous. I would never stoop to such a level. I'm going to say that this is a great game. The season didn't go as well as we had all hoped or anticipated, but what you want to do is you want to leave this season on a positive note. And from that standpoint, I think this game was scheduled correctly. This gives us our building block going into the
Conference USA
Conference
preparation.
USA. I was thinking the spring game and all that other
Yeah.
good stuff. But yeah, give me KSU by at least 17.
Wow.
At least 17.
Oh.
Will the thrill?
Well, we still are doing our thing where we're sitting some starters so that they have the redshirt years.
Eligibility.
So we will see some younger people play, but I still think we're going to win. It is at home. Will be a lot of people there. We'll be excited. There'll be plenty of. If you want some smoked chicken, come by the Black Lot before the game.
Somebody we know might have just bought 56 pounds of it.
Will the Thrill just bought a bunch of chickens.
There's a bunch of chicken that will be cooked.
All right.
But I'm going to go with KSU as well.
Oh, you know what? I'm going to have to go with the Dragons. VUL.
correct.
You know what that VUL stands for?
Vol rhymes with null.
No, very ugly losers.
Very ugly.
So Vol will be getting axed this week. They will be very ugly losers, so I'll take them as Chuck's axe.
I didn't think we were going to make this personal. So any of you dragons out there, that was clearly Chuck who.
Yeah,
said all of you
it
guys
wasn't a
were-
show. It's not a show for Chuck. It's just my prediction. The very ugly losers will go down, I'll say, by 24.
24. I like that. He added another score to mine.
Yeah.
I like that.
All right. Well, as always, we want to thank our guests for tonight. It's time to wrap up. Carrick, thanks for always as being on, buddy. Bill Borden, thank you for coming out and being a part of the show tonight. And Will
Thanks
the
to
Thrill,
Bill Sterritt for
as
that first
always.
show.
Yeah, Bill for the first show.
He's
Let
still
me
here.
end it by one more big hooty hoo. Hooty hoo. All right. Everybody have a good week.